To celebrate the 20th anniversary of Bleach, Pierrot decided to do one of the coolest homages I've seen in a minute. They released a quick 2-minute preview celebrating the highest highs of the series, and it looked absolutely phenomenal. From the animation to the production to the direction and choreography, they were all well beyond what I or anyone else would have expected. So much so that it lit the entire community ablaze with the idea that perhaps a potential remake of the anime was in the works. Now, I'm someone that tries his absolute best not to let hype overtake logic, but I must admit that celebratory video almost got me. Because the prospect of a modern-day adaptation of Bleach's original story is a very welcome potentiality. And add in the fact that Kubo himself not only said that he likes the idea, but actively wants it as well, only lends more credence to that said potentiality of a remake. So, in this video, what I will attempt to do is go over what the consequences would be if Pierrot did decide to take that incredible step and indulge in a remake of Kubo's story. Before that happens though, make sure to drop a like. It helps these videos out immensely, and your support is greatly appreciated. Anywho, I want to start with the positives first, and obviously the biggest positive would be the fact that we'd all be able to relive the experience that was Bleach's first few arcs. And we'd be able to do that with animation that's not only more consistent, but of a much higher quality as well. The earlier arcs in the series weren't terrible by any means when you're talking about animation, but the term outdated most certainly does apply. The animation in the series really doesn't start to take a dramatic uptick until about the very end of Soul Society, with the battle against Byakuya. After that, it does get considerably better, and even some of the fights in the fake Karakura Town invasion and Fullbring hold up extremely well. But a remake would hopefully remove the lack of consistency that was missing in those arcs, and elevate the name of the series as a whole. An improved and stylized art direction would also be a nice addition that the remake could bring to the table too. The older arcs sort of had a very generic of their times look going on, and if that homage were to be taken as the standard for what the art direction would look like for the remake, meaning it would deliver the vibrant colors mixed with that particular kind of shading and lighting that was shown off, then that would just make the anime stand out that much more. Another welcome addition the remake would bring, or I guess to be more accurate, in this case it would be a welcome subtraction, would be the removal of filler. Now, while I did just say exactly what I just said, if I'm honest, I'll also say this is a bit of a double-edged sword, because I actually think that there are a few very solid arcs that the team at Pierrot were able to create. The Forest of Menos and the new Captain Shusuke Amagai, I think that's how you pronounce that name. It's been a while since I've seen the filler, so don't get on me. But those two, and they're not even at the pinnacle, are what immediately come to mind for me, because both are underrated and there's some pretty enjoyable stories and characters within them. However, on the other side, there's also quite a lot of filler that not only isn't very good, like the accursed godforsaken bout arc, which almost made me drop the original series in its entirety. Like, seriously, if I hadn't found out that arc was filler and I could skip it, my Bleach journey might have come to a very swift end. But aside from many fillers for Bleach being of a very low caliber, these fillers would also pop up at the most random and inconvenient times, causing the pacing and the hype of a particular arc to come to a screeching halt. To get more specific here, I believe these inconveniences plagued mostly the Arrancar and fake Karakura Town arcs, unfortunately. The hype would just build and build with great episode after great episode, and then smash cut to some random plotline completely separate from the compelling story that was being told. And while I do completely understand why filler needed to exist at that time, because when both the manga and the anime were running simultaneously, the anime would catch up way too quickly to the manga, so they had to throw in a random plotline so that the show just wasn't on indefinite hiatus until they had enough material to adapt. It doesn't mean I have to like it. So, even though it'd personally be a shame if we didn't see some filler arcs return with updated animation, it's a small price to pay for a very tight and cohesive story that isn't interrupted at its most interesting and exciting moments. Now that we're done with the positive consequences of a Bleach remake, it's time to move on to the negatives. However, these so-called negatives will be more on the subjective side, seeing as how most of what I'm about to say here will be more personal. And what I mean by that is, let's say a remake were to actually happen. By proxy, Kubo, similar to the Thousand Year Blood War adaptation, will be giving the majority of his time to the anime, which would in turn push back the release of both Burn the Witch 2 and a continuation of the Hell arc. And while I would absolutely love a retelling of Bleach's original story that's more in line with Kubo's vision, if it takes away from something new, then I don't know if I'd necessarily be down for that. Burn the Witch has an insane amount of potential. From the extremely interesting world that's desperately needing to be more fleshed out, to its really well-designed and intriguing characters, there's so much to love about this series, and I am waiting for Kubo to go back and explore this world that he has created. The series, with the right story and attention, could literally be the next Bleach, if that's what Kubo wanted it to be. And in a similar vein, No Breaths from Hell, which is the one-shot that started off the Hell arc, was an incredible chapter that left us Bleach fans dying for more. It introduced so many interesting concepts, and then just nothing for forever. Like, Kubo is only one man, and even if he does have a team around him to help him with multiple projects, there's still only so much they can do before he would need to step in and give whatever is being worked on his full attention. Also, there's the issue of Pierrot itself. Does that studio really have the necessary amount of staff and resources to not only start a Bleach remake, but also animate the Spade Kingdom for Black Clover? What about Boruto? That makes them an insane amount of revenue, so how long are you just gonna let that sit there before it fades into irrelevancy? How about those 4 episodes of original Naruto that they were working on for the anniversary that they still haven't released yet? And what if Pierrot wanted to make something completely new? Remaking Bleach the way that everyone would want it would be a monumental task that would take up a lot of time and a lot of money. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't be worth it, but what I am saying is I don't know if it's the right move if it means that all the other anime are put on indefinite hiatus or are given lackluster adaptations because of the resources just not being there. So, at the end of the day, while a remake would most definitely be welcomed with open arms, I just don't know if it's the right move to make if the sacrifices that are being made to bring us it are no new chapters from Kubo for Burn the Witch or the Hell arc, and all these other anime get the short end of the stick or aren't continued for a very long time. If there were enough resources to give all these series the treatment they deserve, and if there was someone Kubo trusted enough to basically be him for the animation team, supervising everything and making sure it was true to the source material so he could work on those new chapters, then I'd be 100% down. But realistically, that seems like a fairy tale. And if you were to actually ask me what I thought the potential chance would be of a remake for Bleach actually happening, out of 10, I'd give it like a 5, maybe a 6. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is going to do it for this one. So thank you all very much for watching. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe with notifications on. And with that said, I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody!